Okay, everyone, welcome back to the Maverick channel. We're not going to stretch this out. Let us jump right into it. Today, we're going to talk about launching meme coins on launchpads on the Binance chain, and we're going to talk about a little bit about inflation. So, we're going to look at two articles, one about inflation, and the other, well, we shall get into it. Okay, so it's an article, Why the Inflation Rate Doesn't Tell the Whole Story, written by Richard S. War. Market economists and policymakers have been fretting about inflation for months, worried that the trillions of dollars being spent in recent and future government stimulus programs could overheat the economy and send prices soaring. On May 12, 2021, the worry watch seemed to have their fears confirmed when the April Consumer Price Index shot up a seasonally adjusted 0.8%, the biggest jump since 2008. The year-over-year inflation rate of 4.2% is double what the Federal Reserve has set as its target. So should consumers be concerned? Should you be concerned about this inflation rate? I think a lot of people don't even pay attention to the inflation rate because normally, it's like, I have a couple of bucks in the bank. I earn my salary every month. Why do I have to care about a 2% inflation? Until you lived in countries like Zimbabwe, Hungary, Yugoslavia, my bad. So, I mean, that's when you feel the pinch of this. I mean, you have your savings, you've worked for so many years, and then all of a sudden, your $1,000 is equal to $10. It's equal to $5. Your $1,000 can only buy you a tomato. So I think with things like decentralized finance, especially with cryptocurrencies, it's really going to change the game, and it's going to give people opportunities to be able to participate in financial systems that they didn't have access to. So you're not just tied down by the limited economics within your own jurisdiction. You can tap into the advantages that are brought by other successful economies, and eventually currencies will form onto the internet that people will trust. Be like, you know what, instead of holding my currency or the other country's currency or any government's currency, I'm going to just hold this digital currency that is stable, that is backed by a bunch of that's backed by real estate collateral, all kinds of collateral. This is a stable currency. It's what I'm going to use. So what is inflation? Inflation is defined as the change in the price of everything from a ribeye steak and a bar of ivory soap to an eye exam or a tank of gas. I think we recently saw news of there's so many countries. I think in Nigeria, they were talking about prices of cement going going so high, and the industry is being affected, the whole development of the country is being affected. And when you see, if you couple that with things like, this whole war on energy and on oil, I think developing nations are going to really be affected, especially if there's a cap on such things like oil and energy. But anyway, I don't want to go into all that politics. So let's continue. In the US, the most commonly used measure of inflation is based on the Consumer Price Index. Simply put, the index is the average price of a basket of goods and services that households typically purchase. It's often used to determine pay rises or to adjust benefits for retirees. The year-over-year change is what we call the inflation rate. Since this is an average across a range of categories, the main number masks lots of key details and big month-to-month swings in various goods and services. For example, airline fares jumped a seasonally adjusted 10% in April, partly recovering from their pandemic plunge, whilst shelf-stable fish and seafood declined 3.5%. Food and energy prices in particular can be very volatile, and for that reason, policymakers often focus on what is known as core inflation, which excludes those numbers. A moderate amount of inflation is generally considered to be a sign of a healthy economy, because as the economy grows, demand for stuff increases. This increase in demand pushes prices a little higher as suppliers try to create more and more things that consumers and businesses want to buy. Workers benefit because this economic growth drives an increase in demand for labor, and as a result, wages usually increase, as the latest job report suggests in the beginning is beginning to happen. Actually, today I was seeing an article about people complaining that the current stimulus checks in the US are causing a major labor shortage within the United States. So there's companies that want people to come and work for them, but you wake up in the morning, you're like, well, I'm gonna receive my stimulus check at the end of the month. Why the hell should I show up to work? So it's a big debate growing. Republicans, liberals, Democrats, whatever, politics. Workers with the higher wages then can go out and buy more stuff. Part of part of a virtuous cycle that keeps the economy humming. Inflation isn't really causing all this to happen, it's merely the symptom of a healthy, growing economy. But when inflation is too high or too low, a vicious cycle can take its place. If left unchecked, inflation could spike, which would likely cause the economy to slow down quickly and unemployment to increase. The combination of rising inflation and unemployment is called stagflation. So, stagnation, inflation, combine the words together, and you've got disaster. And is feared by economists, central bankers, and pretty much everyone else. It's what it's what can cause an economic boom to suddenly turn to bust, just like the cryptocurrency space goes up by. Okay, I don't want to joke about that. It goes up by thousands of percent. Okay, let's continue. Certainly turned to bust, as Americans saw in the late 1970s. The Fed, I think 1971. I think that's when Nixon went off the gold standard. If I'm not mistaken, check me if I'm wrong. The Fed managed to reduce inflation to normal levels only after driving up short-term interest rates to a record 20% in 1979. Putting inflation into perspective, the inflation rate as measured by the consumer price index has changed from a year earlier. So there's a graph that's explaining this. Spiked up in April by most in about 13 years, while some fear a return of out of control inflation like that seen in the 1970s historically is still quite low today. What's behind the increase in the inflation rate? So I mean, we all know there's this thing about inflation and then COVID, just like this article stated. Anyway, so this article is saying that, so how can we determine if this is happening now? Let's take a close look at what makes up the consumer price index as the metrics that we looked at. Much of the increase in April was driven by used car and truck prices, which jumped 10% during the month, by far the biggest increase of any category that makes up at least 1% of the index. As has been reported, that was largely due to a surge in buying by rental car companies, which sold off much of their inventories earlier in the pandemic, as well as the global chip shortage that has reduced production for new vehicles. Other price increases, such as for lumber and some electronics, are also tied to short-term supply chain problems. Increased demand from consumers who have received stimulus checks, as we said, is another possible cause of price increase, but it's harder to quantify that effect. The most categories were much lower. Food prices grew 0.4%, driven by demand for takeout, and energy was down 0.1%, though that was before May's East Coast pipeline problems. So people living in the East Coast, you can elaborate on that. So because the consumer price index is made up of a range of goods and services, it's often the case that changes in the index and therefore inflation are being driven by just one or two parts of the economy, as opposed to an across-the-board price change. In the case of April prices, transportation-related items like used vehicles and airfares and energy services like electricity were the biggest drivers, and these appear to be transitory increases. Nothing to fret about for now. At least this is how the article is concluding it. This is why most economics don't think the US is heading into a new period of high inflation. Instead, there is evidence of pent-up demand, particularly for services that were unavailable during the height of the pandemic in the US, which may result in some short-term jumps in prices. There are signs that inflation will be a bit high for another month or two, but it should return to more normal levels around 2% per year by the end of 2021. The Fed is banking on this as well. Yeah, so that is the article from cryptonews.com. I mean, this is a pretty random article, but I mean, they're not just blatant lies into this article. There's some actual facts, and you definitely learn something when you read this, especially about inflation. Whoever the person that wrote it, Richard S. War, I think did a great job. Okay, let's move on to our next article, the last one. I think this is amazing. By the way, I'm just going freestyle on these things. I haven't read them beforehand, so okay. MePAD looks to capitalize on hype through an ideal launchpad for meme coins. Meme coins are taking over. Thank you, Elon. So an IDO is an initial DEX offering, like initial decentralized exchange offering. Like if you remember an IEO, which was an initial exchange offering. If you remember an ICO, which was an initial coin offering. So the Binance Smart Chain just released an IDO launchpad for microcap coins and meme coins. Wow. The cryptocurrency space never ceases to amaze me. You just never know what's going to come up. You never know what's going to come up. anything can set off this market. Like, okay, let's dive into what exactly this means. No longer just a meme, the Binance Smart Chain now has an IDO initial DEX offering, Launchpad completely dedicated to meme coins and other microcap coins. MePAD claims to be the first IDO launchpad for its kind anywhere in the world, creating its own niche by focusing on precisely the kind of raises the rest of the cryptosphere does its best to ignore. Okay. The MePAD IDO Launchpad is dedicated to microcap coins, meme coins, and other smaller raises, such as charity coins. Okay, it's a strange word to be using in a sentence, but okay, fine. I guess raising money or whatever. So the first coin to launch on MePAD will be Elon Doge. Guys, Elon Doge. Okay, and the ticker for that is EDOGE, a dog-themed meme coin which combines SafeMoon tokenomics with NFTs. Sorry, I'm reading this for the first time. It's hilarious. Oh my god. By no means am I undermining this. It's just hilarious. Okay, MePAD differentiates itself with rapid launches, full KYC, know your customer, and an ape-minded community. Jeez, ready to form or in on whatever might currently be hot in crypto. Since the Launchpad operates on the Binance Smart Chain, it allows its participants to easily swap BUSD, which is the Binance stablecoin, or BNB, which is, the Binance token, for whatever memes they find most worthy. I think, by the way, guys, I mean, regardless of your politics or whatever you think about Binance, I think Binance has really helped the cryptocurrency explore itself in all kinds of ways that we would never even never imagine. It also helped a lot of projects get launched. And I believe the fact that their token is in the limelight right now, it's well deserved. Whether it will be there in the future or not, I don't know. But it's a force to be reckoned with that many people are, I think, scared of. That's why they don't want even to think about it. They think it's just there because Ethereum's having problems. But I've always thought the Binance token is a force to be reckoned with. Like, no doubt, no doubt. Way back, I bought it and sold early, but, that doesn't change. So for the little guys, while crypto launchpads are an established staple for blockchain, for the most part, they don't seek to work with the very smallest projects. For many microcap projects, partnering with existing launchpads is nothing more than a pipe dream. As the MePAD team explains, wow, there's a team. If these projects were to approach a traditional launchpad, they would most likely be rejected due to small size and lack of allocation for the launchpads themselves. So MePAD allows these projects to raise their liquidity for liquidity providers, which is LP, remember they're launching on decentralized exchanges, in a fast turnaround time while enjoying all the benefits of a traditional launchpad. MePAD listed its native token MePAD, MEPAD, directly on PancakeSwap. Those that don't know PancakeSwap, it's a decentralized automated market maker exchange on the Binance Smart Chain, which is doing some amazing stuff. Actually, people, go check it out. Maybe I'll do a video about it if some of you may not know about it. I'm sure most of my viewers know about it. Okay, on April 28th, this with an initial circulating supply of 200,000 tokens from a total of 400 million. Participation of the MePAD platform requires users to stake the platform's native token, MePAD, in advance. This could actually take off. This could take off. In advance of launch events with 3 meme-based levels of buy-in. A pleb must stake 10,000 MEPAD tokens for a pool weight of 10. A Chad must... Oh, no wonder I saw someone tweet that they should be a Chad coin or something like that. I think... Okay, a Chad must stake 69,000, then MEPAD tokens for a pool weight of 100, and then Elon must stake 420,000. Jeez, man. Talk about establishing yourself and talk about, knowing your market. Binance, they know their market. They understand their market. And that's why they're going to go places. MePAD tokens for a pool weight of 1,000. In bad news for plebs, only Chads and Elons receive guaranteed allocations. So I think you've gotten the point. There's I think plebs, which can have 10,000, must take 10,000, and a Chad 69,000. Then an Elon, of course, is like a shark or a whale, 420,000 tokens minimum. Okay, so the initial price of MEPAD was $0.0005, with the token now trading, oh my god, at 13 cents. Wow. MePAD is launching Elon Doge. Okay, the first MePAD IDO, Elon Doge. The MePAD The MePAD Launchpad is already gearing up for its first IDO only weeks after its own token launch event. Elon Doge will be the first token to launch on MePAD, a project that, according to its website, takes the mission to prepare society for the Mars colony seriously. Elon Doge claims it can power a Mars society with a universal basic income and offer proof of culture by producing endless Elon and Doge NFTs. Man, this is gold. Okay, the tokenomic concepts which underpin Elon Doge will be familiar to SafeMoon holders. Guys, we're talking about serious financial systems here. You know, Elon Doge, SafeMoon, perfect, man. I love the crypto space. Holders of the Elon Doge applies to SafeMoon holders in that Elon Doge applies a tax to all transactions. And who collects the tax? In the case of Elon Doge, this tax is 9% for all purchases and sales of EDOGE, with 3% earmarked for token holders, 3% for liquidity, and 3% for NFTs. Ah, guys, we're learning together. I'm learning this right now as well. Elon Doge will be exclusively available to MEPAD. I don't know yet how to pronounce that. Maybe MEPAD. So Elon Doge will be exclusively available to MEPAD token stakers. 20% of the total EDOGE supply will be made available to Chad and Elon level MEPAD stakers, while plebs will be placed into a lottery. Elon Doge has stated that the ideal hard cap is 77 BNB, the Binance tokens, placing the US dollar value at around 52,000 at the time of press. The exact launch date of Elon Doge has yet to be announced, but further information is expected in the coming days. So the person that wrote this article has some closing thoughts. By focusing on microcaps and the smaller raises, which other IDO launchpads ignore, MePAD could provide a vital service that helps to drive some real creativity and innovation in the blockchain sector. It could also spawn nothing more than 1,000 dog-themed clone coins and a fresh wave of crypto degeneracy. But not knowing which is what makes cryptocurrency exciting. Exactly. Guys, don't forget, I wrote down a few points. Do your own research. Dollar cost averaging, especially at the height of the bull market, even at the bear market. Buy the deep, not investment advice, but hey, you want to buy in the red and sell in the green, not the other way around. You don't want to buy in the green and sell in the red. HODL. And I saw this Reddit user that I had this piece of, if you're going to invest in a project, unless you just want to gamble, but if you're investing your savings and serious money in them, you saw this article of this person that invested in Dogecoin and became a millionaire. That was a bad idea. They made it, they were successful, but that was just imagine all the other stories, the 99% of people that lost all their money. So you don't want to be those people. So invest in a crypto that you would at least potentially see yourself not selling in the far future, in the near future, and a project that you've researched tremendously. That's where your heart should lie. And guys, I think that's going to be it for today. I hope you learned something from these two articles that I brought up today. At least I learned a lot. So hopefully I can find some more useful stuff to bring you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so proud to have 108 subscribers. Yay, guys, this means a lot. So see you around. Take care. Bye-bye.